One day an artist brought a painting of the president which he wanted him to see. I went in and said, "Mr. President, there is a man out there who has a painting he wants you to see." He replied, "Fetch him in." The artist came tugging the picture in a large heavy frame. He put it down and waited for the president to speak. It was considered quite a big thing for an artist to get the president's opinion of his painting. Mr. Lincoln looked at the picture for some time without saying anything. Then, with considerable humor in his eye, he said to the artist, "Why, yes, that is a very good picture of me, and do you know why?" The artist was all worked up at the president's attitude and was so confused he could not reply. "Well," continued Mr. Lincoln, "I'll tell you why it is the best picture of me. It is the ugliest." The artist was rather taken back for a few moments, but went away perfectly satisfied. Along about 4 o'clock one afternoon, there were a number of people waiting outside to see the president. He looked up at me from his desk and said, "Pendleton, how many people are out there?" I replied, "Mr. President, there are quite a number." I shall never forget his next remark. He got up, came over to the window, looked at the crowd of people waiting, and then said, "Turn them in, turn them in." Just like an old farmer used to say to me, "Tom, pull down the bars and turn in the cows." One day a paymaster's wife came in, very stylishly dressed, and said, "Mr. President, I would like my husband to be relieved at the front and some other man sent in his place." Mr. Lincoln looked up and said, "Madam, I cannot do that. It would necessitate sending another paymaster in his place, so he will have to remain at his post." Another time a major called. He was anxious to get into General Hancock's corps, then being organized. He told the president he would like to get in this corps and left his papers with him. In the course of a few days he returned and reminded Mr. Lincoln of the fact of having left his application and requested a reply. Mr. Lincoln said to him, "Yes, I have read your papers, but I do not find anything very strong in them." "Why," said the major, "don't you see what General Hancock said?" "Yes," replied the president. "He said you are a gallant officer." "What more could you want him to say?" asked the major in surprise. "Why," replied Mr. Lincoln, "he does not say that you are a sober officer." The man carried signs of dissipation on his face. He marched out of the office with his papers under his arm, and that was the last time I ever saw the pompous major.